Good morning and welcome to Morning Light Radio. Happy Monday. Getting back to our earthly base here. Slowly but surely. Just kind of getting in the groove. Waking up to the possibilities of today. It's nice to be here with you, and I hope that your morning is going swell and that you have a lot to look forward to. That you are inspired by the day, because you deserve to be. And because you should be. We have no good reason to take this new opportunity for granted. I'm never sure where things will go, which direction the mind is going to wander on these morning experiments. It's not really a show, it's just a morning experiment. I will be meeting myself probably quite a few times, especially at this moment, because I'm a little bit stuffed up. So I hope not to make too many weird noises on air. One thing that I've attempted in my life many times is to have a good morning routine. Like doing some light yoga in the morning and meditating, or even doing a more rigorous morning exercise. Yes, I know yoga can be very rigorous, but the way I do it generally isn't. Well, maybe that's not completely true. That plank alone can be quite challenging, but you get the point. If there is one. I've just like to imagine that I can maintain a routine. And it doesn't go too much further beyond my imagination. I find myself drifting from one thing to another, from one practice to another, from one art to another. And it seems like I am a creature of habit, but my habit is the habit of change, changing in many ways to the same thing as before. So you've probably heard, it takes like 21 days to break a habit or to form a habit. And it takes, just one moment to get back into that habit or to fall out of a habit. Have you noticed that? But I keep trying. Keep believing. Keep believing in others. Still believe in myself. No retreat, no surrender. Keep going. Haven't given up on surrendering either. Sorry about all the loud noise if my mic is acting up. I think it has got a lot of use. It may not be quality as it was once in its original form. And the loud background sounds shall continue. And it's all good because there's nothing serious going on here. There's nothing serious. There's nothing unserious going on here. Kind of thinking, I was thinking last night, like, I often considered, well, recently, should I say, I've considered putting an end to this practice. And I would say it has a lot to do with my ego, right? Like, because I know this is not entertaining, and it's not intended to be entertaining. But there is something in me that desires like some sense of importance, right? Which I know where it's coming from, And this is not really the place for that. Maybe I tell myself. But I just don't listen. Right, so there's this kind of like this desire kind of in the back of my mind or whatever. And there's this, there's also this kind of like, oh, this takes like work, some work to do. Not a lot, but some work, right? I gotta program a few things and put a few things on a schedule. Nothing much, but it takes a little bit of attention. And so I thought more than once, why not just end this experiment? Because that's what it is. And I was kind of thinking about that last night. And oddly enough, instead of kind of ending the experiment, I decided to double down and do a going home edition. Woo! Excuse me, I got to blow my nose. And I was, reading some Tao Te Ching stuff before bed. Just a few chapters, and the chapters are short. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the story, but maybe it does. I just don't remember the order of the thought process. And I just thought, you know what? I come here and I talk about anything that surfaces anything that comes to thought or just comes out of my voice generator. And I thought, well, what would happen if I exhaust the majority of my thoughts? I thought, well, man, that might be interesting. Maybe that will be something. Maybe that will maybe that's a good reason to continue this experiment. And as it happens, sometimes when you're kind of going on kind of traveling out of bounds, so to speak, there is this pull of the ego to kind of bring you back. And that pull can come in many different ways. It could make you want to stop doing something. It could put all sorts of psychological barriers in our own way. And in a lot of spiritual philosophies, the ego is something that needs to be tamed. Oh my gosh. Baby deer on the side of the road. And what I would propose is that we've been serving the ego for a very long time, rather than the ego serving us. And by us, I mean the essential self, the primordial self. In a way, it seems to me like the ego is more associated with Maya, or the disillusioning process. And that's only because it's service in nature tends to become self-servient. Which I believe has been magnified by what we learn and what we digest and what we're told to believe. By kind of dissecting, and I'm always considering how we come to believe things and where is the root of our beliefs, and we can look at them individually. And what I've noticed is it's more like a spell than anything, because we have no evidence for so much of our beliefs. I remember a public person explaining his belief system for something, and I won't be too precise about it because that could give you a topic. But he was basing his evidence for his belief was based on because his mother told him so. And I have the utmost respect for mothers, for good mothers. And the knowledge that they have. But I didn't find that to be a great reason for believing in something, especially that should have been evidence-based, or especially when there was evidence based on the subject readily available. But this is how we work. Someone that we view as an authority, and we could be fooled all over the place now. You could go on YouTube and get watch a 6-hour video on somebody's theory and think that you just got a whole lot of facts. Hence the age of great confusion. Traveling through a tunnel, and I don't know if I get cut off through here or not. And I made it through the tunnel, and I forgot to turn on my headlights. But there's lights in there. So we have this circuitry that allows us to be programmed through different cues. And one of the main ones is the cue of authority, often called the appeal to authority. And we're really more or less born with this appeal. Not to be mixed up with the coating on fruits that claims to be healthy and natural and is not at all healthy in content. But we are born to our parents. And under normal circumstances, we trust and we believe our parents. To a certain degree, of course. thinking of telling a kid, "Hey, try this. I promise it's tasty." And they're like, "No way. That doesn't seem to like it looks tasty to me." And for some reason, I don't believe you. But as basic survival, especially as a infant and toddler, there's this inherent trust for the parental or the parents because they are directly responsible for your survival. Again, in most cases. Then as we progress through society, that gets transferred many times. So just as an example, as you put your child through the school system, you transfer some, if not the bulk, of your authority to the school system. And children go to school and are given information. And since it's coming from authoritative figures, they're led to believe that the information they are giving is true. And now there's all sorts of, authoritative figures. It can be the salesperson who knows more about the subject, or should you imagine they know more about what you're buying than you do, which is not always the case, as you probably noticed. I'm hoping to get some authoritative information. So I think this is the easiest circuit to program. Because in this case, we can so easily be spellbound. And our belief systems can easily become very, very firm, very much hardened. And we see this if we have the ability to see this on many subjects and throughout science and archaeology big time. And what you might notice is based on another aspect of the development of beliefs, or how we are persuaded. With this innate desire to be consistent. So I've been, spending over half of my lifetime arguing for, some sort of quantum theory, and I have a lot of suggestive evidence to support it that I've acquired over the years. And I don't think I'm giving any realistic example here, not based on knowledge myself, but just an example, a possibility. And I've been writing papers and studying and arguing against other people for why this theory is strong and a good one. And then there's this bombshell experiment or something, data or whatever, that totally does my theory, or should I say it debunks my theory. What am I gonna do? And what we see is we will just ignore that new bit of information and continue on our path as if that information does not exist, as if it is invalid. So that we can remain consistent. So we can uphold the status quo that we've established within. And I would imagine for somebody like considering what I'm suggesting, that most people would think, oh yeah, that's probably not the best way of doing things. Especially not doing, something that's supposed to be rigorous like science. That's supposed to adapt, right? But science is just an easy example because it's very visible. If you've listened to Graham Hancock, then you probably know what I'm talking about. And I think it's good to be aware of these little strings that can be pulled to access our compliance, or to access our, or even program our belief system. Because when we're aware of these tools, it's going to be more difficult to manipulate us, and for us to manipulate ourselves. For instance, if I'm the scientist or the theorist, arguing for quantum entanglement, and I can't see beyond what I've done for so long and what I believe for so long. Do I become my own fool? Do I become my own ignorance? So it kind of goes back to some sense of morality, I think, where what am I serving? In this case, I would have became a servant to an idea, a particular theory, rather than the servant in truth. And then I, seemingly became so attached to serving this idea that I consequently became the server of untruth and illusion. And I've noticed myself so many times thinking that information that I believed was fact, was factual, and then realizing that it was not factual, it was theoretical. I just don't really think that this serves us so well. This tendency to be so willing to accept secondhand information as truth. I remember hearing this dreadful saying at one point. It was something like, today's facts are tomorrow's untruths. So you could ask yourself, what is a fact, and how can something go from fact to being untrue? How is that possible? What changes? especially if we would open our minds and say, it was indeed a fact. And now it's not true. How can that be possible? How can that happen? I'd like to find an example. Kind of where my brain goes on this one is that the equation has changed. Therefore, that which resulted into the fact is no longer true. So A plus B plus C equals Y. And B is no longer an available factor. So now it's a whole new equation. I think we could make a case for that. Changing environments, whether it be actually physical environments or otherwise. I think it's about time to light a little bit of Palo Santo. That nice smoke on myself. Just be here now in the thick of life. Together with you and many other beings. Traveling in this sacred space. Where people truly create an experience and live in that experience. And one experience can touch many others. Mr. Just Me Art Fan, good morning to you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Having a beautiful morning. Yeah, not necessarily struggling with anything. Just cruising off to work and babbling, as you know I do. Perspective. I will leave my perspective out of that one. I'll let everyone come to their own conclusions on what they think is happening. Yeah, man. Let us come to our own conclusions if we can. And hopefully we can base it on something meaningful and insightful. I think this is something so beautiful about getting your hands in the dirt and working with plants and learning to grow things, learning to harvest food or other items. Because it gives you this perspective, this solid perspective on how things work or don't work. And you'll also witness the changes in the equations, or maybe one year you planted things and you used a certain formula to do so, and what you harvested was amazing, and so you recorded in your mind or somewhere else that formula that you used, and you try the same thing next year, and your results are different. And there's something to be taken into account for the results changing, right? Of course, one of the obvious things is going to be that the weather is in some ways different from season to season, from year to year. The rainfall and so forth. And I would imagine someone who is like a master in this field, master, like botany, in the soil on a daily basis for years and years, are going to have this in-depth knowledge and intuition that can guide them, when these elements and equations change oh so subtly. And we experience firsthand knowledge. There's some people in business that would often rather have a person that is not experienced in the field that they are hiring for, because someone with experience already has a belief system built around the industry, and a belief system in regards to how to accomplish some specific goals. And kind of what some people have experienced is that, those people with the idea that they know how and what to do, they become very difficult to persuade to take the specific approach or strategy that this imaginary business would want to take. Kind of just my experiences, I've seen the one side being a hindering factor and the other side being a hindering factor. Where the person who says, I know, tends to make the same mistakes over and over again because they know everything. Then you have the opposite person. I don't know. I've never learned this. I don't know. And always claim that they always, claiming ignorance. Also, always make the same mistakes. to see this possibility for some balance. Some balance between what we can take responsibility for. And when we can be humble. Overconfidence is just as much as a weakness as the lack of confidence. Of course, you could always go into some psychological reasons for why would we feed overconfidence or feed ignorance. And most analysts would probably blame your parents. But for those of us that are adults, there's no value in blaming. Now it's understanding and correcting. And being cool with stuff. Being cool with where we're at right now. Just being okay. Once again, sorry, I gotta blow my nose. And being excited to partake in this amazing drama that sometimes hurts. And starting the day off with a brand new light. With a new beginning to purify our own elements. And as we do so, we will we are integral to the rest of the planet and beyond. And I thank you all very much for being here, and your presence is very much felt and appreciated. And I wish everybody very well and that they are good to the day and allow the day to be good to them, to us. Have a fantastic, lovely journey. Amen. Aho, namaste, mahalo, be well, and rock on.
Wake up to